So in our previous tutorial, we set up some more global variable structures to help us organize our kingdom rooms well, let's just show here. So as we're strolling through our kingdom, our larger area, we've got these doorways into smaller rooms, and we're learning how to set up external layouts to manage these doorways here. So today we're going to talk about sort of getting this one to pop up and maybe even populating it a little bit as well with our variables. So let's get started by going into the code of our kingdom, and let's keep organizing things and cleaning up as we go along. The more we organize, the easier the code will be to copy and paste for later on scenes, and that's really where we're moving toward here, is easy code management for the future. So let's set up a new group. Where did it go? Maybe it went underneath one of these? Let's see. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this group under collisions because it's going to be about the doorways here. And let's add an empty event here as well. And we'll put it underneath our grouping here to make sure that it collapses. Yep, there we go. And we're going to say if, actually the first thing we can do is we might as well cut and paste this in it, because Bob's doorway counts as one of these doorways. And then we can actually copy and paste here as well and just change out Bob house doorway with our neighbor 1 doorway. And we're going to change our scene here as well. If you recall, let's bring up our external layout and our new scene. So here's our layout, kingdom rooms. And our new scene is basic kingdom room. That's where we're going to use to hold our kingdom rooms. Here's our external layout. Now, something we didn't add, which we can add now, is actually you want to use your layouts here to represent anything that you know is going to be in this room. So we could have included the desk, and when we add later on, we'll add a chest here later on. But I don't see that as a necessity for this room. I may have desks in one room, I may have a chest in another room, that kind of thing. But I do know that Bob's going to be in this room all the time, right? There's no other reason to be here. So we can actually drag Bob out into this room here and place him where we want him to be. You could even rotate him if you want. See if we can get Bob's right there. Good. Good enough. So now, anytime we include this scene, this external layout, into our scene, this is what we're going to have. And like we talked about in the previous tutorial with like the Pokemon SSN rooms, if you want to hard code the desk somewhere, like you want all of your rooms to have the desk there and maybe the chest here and maybe a bed or something like that, you can do that. You can, but we don't need to do that. I'm not going to do that for this one. But yes, feel free to do so. Let's see. The other thing we need to do actually is I do want to make this desk a global object now, and here's why. Because I do know that I'm going to put desks in this room, and not only that, but we spent a lot of time editing the hitboxes for this, and I want to keep that hitbox that we made the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a global object now. And sometimes when you do that, it messes it up in some other area. let's check our main room for a second. Oh good, it didn't mess that up. Alright, good. Let's get rid of that then. Okay. So this is what our basic layout looks like now, our external layout. And our scene that we're going to be calling on is Basic Kingdom Room. So when we are in collision with the neighbor one doorway, we do eventually want to change our new scene here, change to, in double quotes, make sure Basic Kingdom Room. All right. Now when we do this, we can preview this. It should pop up into that like a blank external space here. There it is, Basic Kingdom Room. Not much in there, nothing to do. We haven't told it to do anything. Let's see our code here for Basic Kingdom Room. We just have, at the beginning of the scene, create objects from external layout, kingdom rooms. Okay, so all we did was we chose scene at the beginning of scene, and then we chose here the external layout method here, and create objects from external layout. We wanted it at 0, 0. We want to start in the upper left and then basically take up the entire space. And we can even move Bob, but if you notice, right, Bob looks a little weird here. Notice he's not blinking. He does have his top-down movements. We have to remember, we always have to tell the software what to do. And we want to include our external events in our Basic Kingdom Room code. So let's go to the kingdom code here, and we've got our external events right here. Look at these. Pretty nice, actually. We've done all that work. Let's copy it, and let's paste it in to here, right? So that we have these again here. I'll clean this up a little bit. I'm not sure why that's there. I can delete that. And now let's see what happens when we go into our room. Okay, so you can see it's starting to execute the code, right? But these are all drawn onto the screen because, remember, those layers that we've created, they're not global. You've always got to recreate those layers for each scene. So once we give these the proper dialogue and inventory layers, then these will go away and they'll be on their correct layers again. So let's go back to Basic Room. I know we're going back and forth quite a bit, but this is sort of what ends up happening the deeper you get into the games. But so layers here. Yep, okay, we've got our base layer. We need to create our dialogue layer for our Basic Kingdom Room scene, and we also need an inventory layer. And let's see what that does here. Okay. So Bob's blinking. That's good. Let's see our inventory. Let's press I. Okay, doesn't have the objects yet. And there's another reason for that. And we've got our dialogue layer showing because there's no code to say, well, don't show it. So let's get some of this stuff straightened out and ready to go for next time. First thing we want to do is, in our Basic Kingdom Room scene, you'll note we also didn't inherit our group objects. And we have a grouping of items here for our inventory. And our code is telling us to use the grouping for these items as opposed to individual. So let's go ahead and create our group over here as well again. Let's rename it the same thing we used in our code, items, and I'll just kind of bring that up just to show you what I mean here. Let's see, inventory creation. Can I show into there? I think I can. No, not there. Inventory check. There we go. So you see here, right here, this is a grouping, and it's saying in this group create this item. Well, we don't have a group set up yet in this this new scene here. We've got to create it first. But once we create it this time, we won't need to create it again. We're done because we're going to use this scene for all of our rooms. Potion and empty. And let's hit apply, and now that should have fixed our inventory problem. Okay, let's hit I. Yep, there they are.